You speak English?
I do.
Shall I explain you what this is all about?
You can do.
Or you just like, so basically, today we commemorate Richard Whiting,
Right.
the abbot of the Glastonbury Abbey, who was like hung, drawn and quartered together with his two disciples up on the Tor.
Okay.
And this was like basically essentially black magic of the crown. From that moment, the crown was head of the church, and they eradicated the divine feminine out of all of this. So when Joseph of Arimathea built the first church, he built the first church dedicated to the Holy Mother. In his heart, the Holy Trinity was the Holy Mother, the Holy Father, and the Holy Son. Therefore, he was granted sovereignty of the land. The 12 Heights of Glastonbury were a sovereign state dedicated to the Holy Mother. Now the Roman Empire and the English Church took the Holy Mother out of the Holy Trinity to use the power of the Church for war, consciously, eradicating all traces of the divine feminine. This is why they did what they did with the Abbey, because of this. And every year, this kind of magic gets reenacted, like when they cut a piece of holy thorn and give it to the crown for Christmas, to have it on their table. Like they consciously or unconsciously give their sovereignty away. The sovereignty that has been taken by force, by black magic from this land, the sovereignty that was granted to the Holy Mother.
Right.
And today we're remembering him and these flames and the cup. It represents the Grail. It's just like a storyline of like breaking the spell of war. And for us, right here, right now, so these are the flames of the divine feminine, together with the egg of Isis, like Isis Sophia, the wisdom of God. And this is what they try to repress consciously. Like, don't worry about the Holy Mother. The Holy Trinity is the Holy Father, and Like, and with what we're doing here, we are literally breaking the spell of war by raising consciousness about it. Because if you look at it, it makes so much sense. All the details, everything. Like Richard Whiting and his two disciples, hung, drawn and quartered up on the Tor, the heart chakra of the world. Everything that happens up there ripples out to the whole planet. And if you see this black magic of the crown, it's like, oh, this is where the magic started. And then you look at the colonization, the slave trade, the concentration camps, all the wars. Like, it's not that like, oh, it's us against them. No. The upper class, they know each other. They just sent like us to war. It's a spell. Because why would I want to kill somebody? Like, because they tell me really, oh yeah, I do that, without thinking. This is a spell. And we are breaking the spell of war right here, right now, today, with power of Christ and the flames of the divine feminine reinstated in the landscape of Avalon.
Thank you.
Why today? What's so special about the 15th?
It was today where was the anniversary day where they hung, drawn and quartered him
Same day.
It's
up on
actually
the
a
Tor.
saint. It is actually named as a saint's day on the calendar.
All right, which saint?
Richard Whiting.
Saint,
You
okay.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, that's terrific. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
you came today. Thank
It's
you very
actually on
much.
the Catholic calendar. It is marked on the Catholic calendar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
When I've been telling you like about the storyline that this Grail kind of represents, it's all just a story, like, but it's one of those stories where people dedicate their lives to the divine, like giving all. And that's what I did. And last Sunday, on Remembrance Sunday, I carried these flames, like the chalice representing the Grail, into St. John's Church, where it was placed in front of the altar. And then the next day, last Monday, 11/11, I went into Merlin's cave, anchoring the energies of the Grail. And Excalibur, which is like another story, but it's like it's all part of the story. Like, so I'm at the point where if you ask me what do you mean with the Grail, I can tell you the whole story of it. And if you ask me what do you mean Excalibur, I can tell you the whole story of it. Relatable, how I lived my belief until it turned into knowledge, because this is how knowledge happens. What you believe needs to be lived to know. So Spirit gave me all these things to believe, like, oh, I believe that this represents the Grail. And then I lived my life, and all the confirmations that I received, I took pictures, videos, witnesses and everything, and putting them together, I can relate to people why I know that this is what that represents. Same with Excalibur, and I did a whole a musical drone made of reverberations of the tower, of St. Michael's Tower, and we used that to anchor the light of Christ into the planetary grid in churches all over Glastonbury until I got banned, because they know that essentially this is the end of all religions, because it's not the crown. How can the crown be head of the church? Really? So by destroying all that, Henry VIII, he's even got a helmet with horns and stuff. And oh yeah, from that day the crown is head of the English church. What? Really? And nobody bats an eyelid. They just go like, oh yeah, well, our sovereign, yeah, here's our sovereignty, take our sovereignty. It's done, it's broken, and this is the end. Blessed, humbled, thankful. And it's Archangel Michael who brought us together right here, right now, at this moment. He runs the show. He sent me on this quest. And I've got all the kind of, like it's irrefutable. When Michael told me 2 years ago to go to Kiev, to the Golden Dome Monastery, during war, to light my oil lamp with 7 flames in this monastery, I went. I let go of my life and I went there. We had the return flight to Poland, but essentially with a one-way ticket on the train into Kiev during war, 14-hour journey, without nothing but like trust. And I did. And the confirmations that I received there, it's like, just, this is a whole book. Blessed, humble, thankful to be essentially in service of the Divine Feminine, because she had to be reinstated in the Glastonbury landscape. Have you heard about the Glastonbury Zodiac?
Yeah.
So the Glastonbury Zodiac, essentially, like, these are the clues to the past of Atlantis that we left here to be discovered when the time is right, and this time is now. Is that an Archangel Michael pendant that you would like to put on the altar?
I just thought I'd show it to you. Funny you should mention.
It's obvious.
Yeah. Just a sigil.
Whoa. May I?
Yeah. That's actually Michael written around it. And I bought that within the last month.
Wow.